In other news, water is wet. Imams again caught telling the congregations that it's okay to beat your wife or wives, according to Islam. You can have more than one wife. What the heck? Why does this keep happening over and over again? Behind closed doors, you have these recordings of imams saying these things, sometimes openly, sometimes they get caught. And then they do this whole big cover up campaign about, oh, wow, we didn't mean that. That's not what we meant. We don't mean literally beating. But that's what they teach because the Quran is a source of bad ideas. We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about what these two imams said and why it's so awful. Let's get into it.
Nushuz here means she, for example, refuses to have intercourse with him. Then he gives her admonition. She comes back to intercourse, then khalas. If it doesn't benefit and she continues to refuse having intercourse with him, فَإِنْ أَظْهَرَتْ نُشُوزًا هَجَرَهَا. She continues in that, he boycotts her. Meaning, he doesn't sleep with her in the same bed. He doesn't leave the house, he's still in the house, but he doesn't sleep in the same bed as her. He abandons sleeping with her in the bed. فَإِن لَمْ يَرْتَعْهَا ذَلِكَ. If that doesn't, I said 4, right? Sorry, it's 3. If that doesn't help, then he's allowed to hit her a hitting that does not bruise and that does not break bones. Meaning, مثلا, he shakes her or the likes of the like.
How is it in 2026 we're still having these conversations about whether it's okay to beat your wife for any reason? We never talk about beating husbands because that's not what happens in these societies. It's always the men beating the wives. And for the slightest injunctions, whether she doesn't cook the food properly, whether she denies him in bed, whether he fears nushuz, aka disobedience. If you have these imams in the mosques saying such vile things, what do you think they say behind closed doors? What if a woman goes to the imam and says, Imam, my husband's beating me? He's probably going to ask her, what did you do? What did you do to cause this beating? What did you do to be hit? And then he's going to say, brother, you should not hit her, but no, it is allowed. And that's what the brother will say, it's allowed. It's allowed to beat my wife. What's stopping him? Nothing, really. So the fact of the matter is, Islam has awful ideas and it needs to be taken away. The teachings of Islam need to be less important as time goes by, which is what's happening already. But we can't just let these things go by unnoticed and without fighting them. These values will continue to come back because of fundamentalism. Muslims are still trying to bring these values back. They're still trying to say that the Quran is the word of Allah and it needs to be followed. So if the Quran is the word of Allah, it needs to be followed, then there's nothing wrong with beating your wife. You would think that a true merciful God would have left his religion in a manner that would protect its most weakest members of society, women and children. Rather than that, you have hadith that talk about beating kids when they don't pray. And you have Quran that talks about beating your wives. Muslims might say, well, that's not what it means. But we know that's what it means because Muhammad did it himself. In fact, the word itself, to beat, to hit, that's literally what it is. It's to cause physical harm. If it was metaphorical, then why would you even need to say that? Why would the Quran even need to justify such a thing? I mean, metaphorically, like if my wife does something I don't like, I tell her off. I don't need to metaphorically beat her. That doesn't even make sense. Like, what does that even mean? So let's get to the point. Islam is bad for society. It needs to go away. Its teachings need to go away or it become less important in the lives of Muslims. Muslims that do such things, in fact, if they go to Sharia councils like they have in some countries, they're going to be enabled. Allah enables this, just like all the other bad things Allah enables. So if you're Muslim and you're a woman, you are disenfranchised by your own God, by your own Prophet. And that's awful. But if you live in the West and you don't go to the Sharia councils, you're better off. You're much better off. And that's how it should be.
If your wife, or perhaps any 4 of your wives, refuses sex, first give her advice, according to Abdur Razik. I wonder what that conversation would look like. Let me imagine myself in this situation. Let's say, for example, I am really angry at my husband because I found out he's talking to women on muzz and salams for wife number 2. So naturally, I get pissed off and decide that I'm going to avoid sleeping with him so he understands my pain. It's now time for bed, and my cheating husband is acting like he deserves to have sex because what he's doing is halal. Well, it may be halal, but I'm pissed off and I don't want him touching me. Now comes the fun part. He's going to give me, big finger quotes, advice. Oh, what will he say? Hey honey, I know you don't want to be replaced with another wife, but you really don't have a say in what you do with your body. It's not really yours, it's mine, and I can have it whenever I want. So I just wanted to let you know this so you can be warned and submit. Despite how angry you are with me, I really don't feel any less turned on or concerned about your feelings. So you need to give me what I want. Right. That whole thing sounds really stupid. That's the issue here. The concept of marital rape is not a thing in Islam, and a man is entitled to your body whether you like it or not. Women are such jewels in this religion, aren't they? They're like precious diamonds and pearls, as the flowery Dawa language tells us. Heaven is under our mother's feet. Every day is Mother's Day in Islam. Hijab is our crown. We are so special that if we don't have sex with our husband, we are going to get the first line of defense, which is advice, then admonishment, followed by the jugular of punishments, being hit and shaken as if we are trash. Don't worry though, our husbands aren't allowed to break our bones, according to Abdur Razak. They make it sound like that's a win for women, not being allowed to have broken bones. Please, everyone in the comments, fill me in here. What is the worst pain you ever felt where it didn't involve breaking a bone? Such pain does exist, right? For example, when I stub my toe on a vacuum cleaner or twist my ankle. That isn't bone breaking, but it hurts like hell. Imagine being told this as if it's some sort of relief you're supposed to feel by this ruling. It's as if there's no other pain or form of torture that exists outside of breaking someone's bones.
So therefore, what do you think I'm going to say? Leave Islam behind. Life is better and more beautiful without it. On that note, I end. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more coming from Mr. and Mrs. Friendly Ex-Muslim. This is Mr. Friendly Ex-Muslim signing out.
Thanks for watching. If this content resonates with you, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment of support, or if you want to do even more, join our community on Patreon. Because while some people are busy defending wife beating as light tapping, we're out here pulling back the curtain.